All right, we're recording. Good morning, everybody. So we normally on Monday mornings, I have the executive directors and above. We do a little meeting on Monday mornings, and I thought it would be fun to invite everybody to join us today because in the time that we're in, it's really important to everybody keep their head in the game and stay strong as we are trying to lead others, our clients, our coaches. So I thought it would be kind of fun today to dive into element 4. A lot of the questions that I have, that have been coming have been a lot of, people are not answering, people are stressed, like a lot of those obstacles, okay? How do I help my clients? Everybody's freaking out right now. So we'll kind of go a little deep and heavy this morning, and I hope that that's okay with everybody because what I find when working with coaches, when working with my clients, that I can only lead people if I've gone there myself, okay? So it's gonna begin with us, you guys. It's going to start with taking a look inward. You know that saying, like if you're pointing the finger at someone, right? You're pointing one finger and there's 3 more pointing at you, right? So it always begins with us. So I'm gonna kind of, go through a list of questions that I was compiling this morning of things that sometimes people ask, why don't I have a larger business by now? Why isn't this growing faster than I thought it was going to grow? Everybody's freaking out right now. Why are my clients falling off? No one wants to get on the phone. My coaches aren't doing anything. This is so hard. I don't have time. I'm so overwhelmed. Okay. Has anybody been guilty of saying those things at all? Right? Okay. Me too. Me too. And that's why it's like I'm so passionate about this topic because honestly, nothing changed for me until I looked inward, right? Instead of pointing the finger at my clients or pointing the finger at my coaches, 3 more were focusing back on me. So that's where it begins. So let's dive into the life book. So you guys have your life books? I thought it would be cool. And another question that I ask my coaches especially is, are you enjoying the life book? Are you working in the life book? And I'm going to tell you what, guys, surprisingly enough, a large percentage are not. Okay, so if we don't have what we want, then we have to look inward and say, okay, this is interesting. What can I do to change? So I thought as our coaching community, we could kind of dive into this a little bit together and take a look at element 4. So let's turn to page if you have it. If you don't have it, it's all good. I will kind of walk you through the process. Let's go to page like 105. That's where we're going to get started. And Dr. A says here, when I say my goal for you is to become the dominant force in your life and being very serious. When you have internal stability and external equilibrium, each day of your life will become all out magical. You will possess a habit that most have never even thought about. Let's sit with that for a second, guys. You guys are all living a life that most people have not even thought about. And you know what? A lot of people feel like they're stuck in a rut because it's like, oh, this is my genetic makeup. This is everyone in my family is overweight, or we all struggle. My whole family is emotionally unstable. Like, right? These are things that people have just programmed inside of themselves to think this is life. These are the cards I've been dealt. And quite honestly, it's just not true. Okay, so you guys get to become the dominant force in your life. Now, how do we help our clients? How do we become great business coaches? How do we do these things? How are we going to help other people succeed and live their best life? It all begins here. All right, so we get to dive into this together and say, how can I be better? Instead of every time we say those questions of, oh, my clients are dropping off and I don't know what to do and I thought I would be further along by now and da-da-da-da-da. All those things means that we have just gone into the drama triangle, okay? We get to be the dominant force in our life to take a look up close and personal. This is where we get to implement the tools that Dr. Anderson has given us, right? Stop, challenge yourself and say, that's interesting. I'm in judger mode right now. I'm judging myself or I'm judging others right now. Interesting. Now I get to make a choice. Am I going to go victim, villain, or am I going to show up as a hero to serve everybody else and put myself last and live in the drama triangle because that's what's comfortable and that's all I know? Or do I want to become the dominant force in my life, jump up above the line, show up responsible, and take a look at what am I in control of right now? Because guys, the world is spinning around us, correct? Right? We are pretty much out of control with a good percentage of everything right now. Can't go to the grocery store, can't go to our friend's house, can't hang out with can't go to the movies, can't. Okay, so we can live there and feel a victim in what we're going through right now, where most of our clients are living, most of our coaches are living in that space right now. But what we know is something different, okay? We know that we can be the dominant force in our life. And in order for us to show this to other people, we need to be in check ourselves. And that's where I'm going at with that, all right? So stop judging yourself, right? Stop judging others. And let's start saying, how can I pull myself out of this pit? How can I? Can you teach me? Can you show me how, right? Now, it first starts with personal responsibility. We've got the answers right here, guys. So ask yourself the question, am I doing the work in the book? Because element 4 is your answer. Element 4 has all of your answers. But sometimes we want to say, if I only had a better coach, right? Pointing the finger at someone else, right? If I only had better clients that more integrated, pointing the finger to somebody else, right? We're not taking personal responsibility for it ourselves. So let's jump into that. Who wants to take personal responsibility? Throw one in the chat. Number 1, dominant force. All right. So there's a quiz here, guys, and I'm not going to go through all of this together, but this is going to help you guys take an assessment of where you're at currently. Are you showing up primarily? How do you see the world? Okay, are you showing up primarily below the line, or are you above the line? Do you see life above the line where you're taking personal responsibility? So take time to go through that together or on your own. And then take a look. I love this diagram that shows on page 107, this one. You guys can put me on speaker view if you need to see this bigger. Okay, so below the line is showing you that this is kind of monitoring your body language, all right? So you're closed, defensive, and you want to be right. Okay, just blink if you've ever felt like that. Like, I'm right, this is the way it's gotta be, right? April's shaking her head no. Okay, and then you wanna ask yourself the question here, right? Because we're doing a stop, challenge, choose on this. Okay, when you feel that way, ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this really getting me what I want in life when I'm closed and defensive and I'm saying I want to be right? Right? How is that serving you? Really think about this, you guys. I really, really want and encourage you guys to really think about this, because this is what's going to set you free. And guess what happens when you get set free from this? You're going to be able to teach other people to do the same. But until we really get up close and personal with ourselves, we are leaders. We are leaders here. And if we want to lead people, we need to do it and show up differently. Let's show the world that we are different. Let's show the world that we are completely showing people how to break free from this bondage. Okay? Above the line, we are open, curious, and we have a growth mindset. So in your mind, I want you to think about the last time where you felt closed and defensive about something, where you felt like you had the need to be right. Or maybe you were working on mentorship and your coaches were saying something to you, but you felt like you needed to jump in and, I guess, prove your point. Like, oh, no, I'm doing that, but, right? I am doing that. I did do that. I did say that, but they didn't, right? And then just let's ask yourself, you guys, these are hard talks, and I know it's early for many of us. It's like, this is a heavy talk, but this is freedom. Okay, I really want you to look at that as like, wow, this is hard to take sometimes, but there's freedom on the other side of this breakthrough. Because sometimes we dwell in that place and then we get off of a mentoring call and we're just like, they don't even get me. They don't understand how hard my life is right now. They don't understand what my clients are doing. They don't understand, okay, what my coaches aren't answering my phone calls. How is that serving you when you stay stuck in that space? So if we can, as responsible leaders, right, above the line leaders, how do we show up and say, how can I learn and get the best out of this experience? These are questions we are asking ourselves. That goes from being judger mode, when we're judging ourselves, judging others below the line, and now we show up above the line and say, you know what, thank you for your feedback. I really want to grow, and that's why I keep showing up. This is a hard talk. I'm going to be honest. This is hard, but thank you for your perspective. Okay, as coaches, guys, we always want to get to a place when we're working with our clients. Let's take it to the client realm right now. So first we were talking about ourselves personally, all right? So that's something we are going to apply to ourselves. Now, let's go to page 109. And they're actually showing the drama triangle right there. Okay, so let's use an example of our clients. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. This is, if you don't have your book in front of you, we're in the life book, page 109. So it says victim, villain, hero, right? And you're in the drama triangle. So things are being done to us. It's not fair. Let's take a look at the life around us right now. Are things kind of being done to us? There's a lot of things that are not fair right now, completely out of our control. There's a lot of people that are in hospitals. There's a lot of people going through some real life hard stuff. Okay, and it's hard. You guys, this is a moment in our life where it's hard, okay? And it's very, very easy and natural for us to jump down and get into the drama triangle. It's very natural for us to live in that space. People are out of work. People are getting sick. We are taking control. Control is being taken away from us. But we have a choice. Okay? We can say and ask ourselves the question. We can stay in a judger mindset below the line and get stuck with 99% of the population that's out there right now that is stuck to the news. They're glued to the news. Everybody's negative. Everybody's feeling like our world is coming to an end. Everybody is living in the utmost fear, and the fear is completely controlling them. We can be different. Okay? There's a much smaller percentage of people, like Dr. A said here, and that's why I love this statement, right? You will possess a habit that most have never even thought about. This is so big, you guys. Do you want to follow the masses? Or do you want to be a leader right now? Do you want to show people the way? Do you want to be the light that's giving people hope? This statement is so huge. And it's true. Because if people thought about it, everybody in this world would be an Optivian. Everybody would, right? Because this life is amazing. What they teach us on how we can be personally responsible for our life and our goals and what we want more of in life, right? And really fulfilling purpose, a very small percentage of people are willing to do so. All right, so highlight that on page 103. You, each and every one of you here, are learning to possess a habit that most people have never even thought about. So is it going to be hard? Absolutely. Is it going to be worth it? Absolutely. Right? So are we going to expect this to be that straight road of success while we're learning this habit? No, we're not. It's going to be a windy, squiggly, circly, crazy, bumpy, crazy road. I want you guys to expect that, because too many people come into this and expect it to be a straight road of success. How could we, guys? We are breaking through so many years. How old are each and every one of you? Say that out loud in your brain or whatever. You can't say that out loud in your brain, but say it, right? How many years have you guys been living this way? How many years have you guys been completely thinking that the way you live, the way you see the world, the way you show up, the way you react, the way you respond, you've been living, for me, 48 years. That is truth. That's all I know. That is my habit. That's how I react. That's how I talk to people. That's how I respond to people. But we are in control and we're responsible for learning how to change it. Okay? Now, with all the things that are happening in the world right now, I'm sure a lot of your clients, as are mine, a lot of people are really scared. People are living in a scarcity mindset, hence the toilet paper, right? People are nervous, people are stressed, people are not showing up as their best. So what do we get to do as being coaches? Do you guys want some tangible tips and like bullet points and things that you could share with your clients right now? Things that you could share with your coaches right now to help show them how to get above the line, okay? So first of all, we want to be fully present for them and let them say what they need to say, right? We want to check in with them, first of all. That's what, and this is how I recommend doing it right now, is that a lot of people are kind of off their game. What do our clients do when they're off their game? They feel like they don't want to talk to us because they want to hide, okay? So the first question is this: hey, how are you doing right now? I'd love to connect and just see how you are. I just want to connect with you, make sure you're doing okay with everything that's going on right now, okay? Connect with them on that level. We're not connecting them on their weight loss. Let's just take the assumption that they've gotten a little derailed, okay? But we're not going to say that. We're assuming everything is great. We always take the assumption no news is great news. I'm assuming that you're doing fantastic, but I just want to check in with you friend to friend and just make sure you're good, okay? 1. Then you're going to get on the phone with them or Zoom, and you're going to just be listening. Let them say what they need to say. We want to be very, very, very empathetic, you guys, okay? Now, you got 2 choices from here on out, because some of these calls are going to be a little heavy. People are going through a lot of stuff right now, okay? They're going to give you a boulder. You got 2 choices. You could take that boulder and you can hug it so tight and hang on to every single thing in detail that they gave you, and you can drown and go below the line, okay? You could take it and carry it, and most of you guys that are here, because that's who is attracted to Optavia, is that you all have caring hearts. You are all extremely empathetic. You're compassionate. You love people. That's why you're here. So it's very easy for all of us here to take that boulder and drown and fall into a pit and get depressed, okay? Option 1. Option 2, we can take that boulder and let it go. We can drop it. Let the boulder and the weight of the world fall down, but we don't need to drown with it. You put your oxygen mask on first, and that's why I started this call with you taking care of you. You learning these concepts for you of being and staying above the line and showing yourself responsible. You put your oxygen mask on. We don't need to go down the downward spiral of everything that's going wrong with every single person. I'm going to teach you guys how to be an empowered coach and how to empower others right now. All right? So the next thing is the empowerment triangle. 110. I'm in charge of what happens. I am creating my new story. I help others get better. I empower others to be successful. I am open and curious to learn. Obstacles help me to get better. Now, how do we apply this in a time that is so challenging, right? We get to look at this as, okay, we've got tools. We don't have to be everything to everyone, but we can ask them some great questions. And here we go with the questions. It's going to start with this. We want to be given permission to go there. So we ask for permission, number 1, always. And we say, first of all, I'm so sorry that you are going through everything you're going through. Okay? Thank you for sharing all of that with me. Okay? Can I offer you some tools or a different perspective? You guys might want to write this down. Okay? So the first thing was, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Thank you for sharing that with me. Can I offer you some tools that can maybe assist in helping you to get through this? Okay? And then the next thing is going to be, we're going to lead them to the tools, guys. Okay? The first thing I'm going to ask them is, I know there's a lot of things that are out of control, that are out of your control right now. Let's talk about what you do have control of. All right? Now, what are some of the things I'm leaning towards in this moment? What are some of the things that they are in control of, guys? Because when people feel like they've lost control, if people have felt that they lost control, they automatically go down in the drama triangle. We like control, guys, right? Whether you're a control freak or you're not a control freak, I think the majority of us want control of our choices. We don't want to just be robbed of everything, okay? So when you can give people control back, they feel more safe and secure. They feel more empowered. So let's help them find what they are in control of, all right? They're in control of what goes in their mouth. They're in control of how they're going to react to things. And then I ask them questions. We go straight to, you can have that conversation with them where you're starting to listen. Say, I know you're feeling out of control with a lot right now in your life, but what are you in control of? Let's walk through that together. And you ask them a couple questions. Let them tell you, guys, and you can give feedback, right? And then when you're talking about the eating, how do you feel when you're binge eating? Like, how does that make you feel afterwards? And how do you feel when you have more structure in your eating plan? How do you feel? It doesn't need to be 5 and 1, guys. But what are they putting in their mouth right now? So many are turning to alcohol. So many are turning to sugar addictions again. So many are turning to things that are making a downward spiral because they can't get themselves grounded and centered. Okay? So just ask them, like, what's the difference in how you're feeling? Do you see how I'm asking questions? I'm not lecturing. And I'm not carrying the burden. I'm showing up as a breath of fresh air for them. I want them to get off the call like feeling like, I feel so much better because now I feel in control again. Okay? So ask them those questions. Now, the next question for me that I ask myself, how can I elevate their frequency? You guys understand frequency, right? Like a low frequency is when you're asleep and depressed on the couch. Okay? A high frequency is when you're walking on sunshine and life is wonderful and you hear that song playing and you're just skipping around the world. Happiest day ever, right? What can we do to elevate your frequency? And that's my next question for them. I always go to music because I know that's what works for me. Sometimes it's hard to say, okay, go read a book. If I've got a low frequency, the last thing I want to do is pick up a book. Some people might be fed by that. I'm not. Okay, I like audiobook. I like to listen to something because I can lay on the couch and not have to think, but I can listen. So for me, it's music. It's my girl, Rachel Hollis. It's whatever it is for them, okay? So you guys want to ask them, like, what inspires you? What kind of music do you like? That's a great question. Do you have a playlist on your phone that you can go to that says high frequency music? Get creative with them, guys. Do you see how now you're partnering with them and they feel that you are for them? Okay? And then I ask them, because again, a lot of people are at a low frequency right now. Then we get to ask them, where can we fit 5 minutes into your day that you can do something to refill your cup? Okay, and ask them the question before that. What are you doing to refill your cup? Because most of them are like, nothing, I'm homeschooling 24/7. I've got to still do dishes. I got to do my own work with work. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Everybody is like, overwhelmed. Okay. And when you ask them that, what are you doing to refill your cup? That usually cues tears. I'm just going to say, that's usually where that conversation goes right there. I don't have time to refill my cup. I'm so spinning in circles. You have no idea. I can't keep it together. I have no idea. And then you say, would you like to work on that? Can I offer you another perspective? Can we start with 5 minutes? Where can we fit 5 minutes in just for you? What music do you like? What's a song that makes you happy? And you want it to be something for them. What's your favorite song? I did a call with Rocio with one of her clients doing this, and I think it was Eye of the Tiger. And we just started laughing. And we're like, that's hilarious. And then she's like, it does. Every time I listen to it, I can't stop my body from shaking. It makes me happy. I'm like, then that's your song. Okay? So when are we going to listen to that? Okay. And then she's like, I'm usually like spent, in the afternoon, like I'm done, I'm exhausted, I'm wiped out. I'm like, okay, that song's probably like 2 or 3 minutes. Do you think you deserve 2 or 3 minute break where you can maybe just go outside and get some fresh air and listen to that song? You guys, her frequency has been so elevated since she's been implementing that habit that she's been on track. She's feeling good. She's moving forward. Okay? So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing for people. We're giving them steps. Now, the old me, the old Lori, I would have taken that burden, that boulder, and I would have sunk with them, and I would have listened to the conversation, and I would be like, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Life sucks. It's so hard. I can't even imagine what you're going through. I'm so sorry. This is so hard. I'm so sorry. And I would have gotten off of that conversation, and I would have been more depressed, and they would not feel empowered. We would have both gone victim. Okay? So guys, these are just tools. But if you're not grounded and centered, you're not going to do any help for anybody. It always begins with us. So next time you find yourself asking yourself the question of, how do all my clients are stressed out right now. They're making me crazy. They're this, they're that. Judger, judger, judger. Judger mode. We're judging, 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 judging. Who are we serving? We can't serve anyone when we're judging. Judging themselves, judging ourselves, judging everybody. Like, we can't get stuck there. But you guys, that's what we're accustomed to, most of us. Okay, so give yourself grace in that, first of all. Give yourself grace, because that's the only language you know how to speak. Now you get to learn a new language. If you want, if you choose, the power is in your hands. But we have to show up and rise above the line to do it, and expect it's going to be hard, and expect you're going to fall, and expect it's not going to be a straight road of success. Just like when you're all learning to ride a bike, right? You fall, you get right back up again, and you try it again, and then you fall again, and you get right back up again. And the more and more and more you do this, the more it's going to be your new language. The more it's going to be common nature. It's going to roll off of your tongue. Now you have to set boundaries for yourself through this process. I've had to set some hardcore boundaries. I know myself. I can't watch the news. I started watching the news, and then I was going into some major fear. I was freaking out. When this all went down, I was a mess, you guys. I'm going to be honest. And then all of my coaches and my clients and everybody else is feeding me. And I'm like, boom, 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 boom. And I was in a pit, and I had to make a choice. And I had to say, okay, I'm carrying everybody's boulders right now and my own, and I've drowned and I've sunk. Okay. And then I'm like, all right, guess what? I finally shook it off one day and I'm like, all right, well, clearly we're going to be doing this for a while. So how am I going to show up? Am I going to live in this pit? Who am I going to serve when I'm in a pit? So I'm responsible right now. I'm making my choice. I'm setting my boundaries, and I'm telling Garrett, you tell me what I need to know, because he can deal with this kind of stuff. I can't. I know myself. I've lived in fear for the majority of my life. And that old habit, boom, it crept right back up again. And then there's this story and this story and this story and this story. And I'm like, like I can't. I know my boundaries. And I'm not going to serve anyone if I'm in a pit. I know what I need to do. I need to stay in my house right now. That's all I got to do. I just need to make sure my house is stocked with groceries. I don't need to look at the death polls. I don't need to look at all of these things. It's not serving me or anyone else I'm trying to help right now. The only thing I can do is apply this book. I've never applied this book so much as I have in this past month. Guys, I've been doing this for 7 years. Dive into the book. Your answers are here. And if we're trying to coach to this stuff, we need to know it for ourselves, or we're not going to be able to help anyone. Okay? So, I love, just again on page 112, this diagram of the stimulus and the response. So the stimulus creates an immediate response from our emotional brain without a gap or time for thinking. So we need to understand that what we're going and what we're faced with, we are in control of our response. So talking again about what are we in control of and what are we out of control of, one of the only things that we are in control of, oops, hold on, let me mute someone. One of the only things that we are in control of is our reaction and our response. Okay, has been a mind blow moment for me. That's all we can be in control of, guys. And honestly, it's a lot of control if you really think about it. We can go into freak out mode, we can go into a crazy reaction, or we can just say, all right, what can I do to change the situation in the world right now? I can't do a whole lot, but I can stay in my house. Okay, what can I do about all the people dying? I can't do a whole lot, but I can stay in my house. Am I going to let this completely feel like the world is coming to an end? There's too many great blessings that I can be looking at right now that are happening that I need to focus on. My mind is going to focus on the blessings and not all the tragedy, because the tragedy, unfortunately, I'm out of control of. So I could allow that to put me into a depression, or I can just start focusing and taking my focal point off of all of the tragedy and focus more on the blessings. And I will tell you this, having my family here at home has been the biggest blessing for us. With as busy as my kids are with their schedules and with all of this stuff, I could look at it. Yeah, the first week or so, it was hard because of their emotions. They didn't want to be home. They didn't want to be stuck at home. But now we are finding beauty in our time together. Why? Because that has been my number one focus. How, as a family, can we find beauty together? How can we cherish this time together? That was my responsibility. If mom would have stayed in the hole, in the pit, and wanting to lay in bed and not come out, would my family be reacting the way they're reacting now? Absolutely not. And many of us are parents, right? Our clients need us. Maybe our clients are more of the people that we are trying to make a difference in. If we, the leaders, are strong and solid and show and can teach people how to dive into the tools that they have, we're not the therapists, guys, but we can teach them. We show them where to go. And all I really, truly, if you looked at your notes, and that's why I wanted you to write it, I want you to see there's nothing great about what I did. The only thing I did was ask a couple of questions, about 3. right? We're there for them empathetically. I'm sorry you're going through this. Can I offer you another perspective? Something to help you be able to get through this a little bit easier? What can we do to elevate your frequency? There's not a lot you're in control of right now, but let's take a look at what you are in control of right now. Does that feel like I wasn't being empathetic? Right? Does it feel, no, it's empathetic, but it's also empowering to them. So I'm going to open it up for about 5 minutes. Any takeaways, questions, anything like that, guys? Anything? Go ahead and come off mute.
I just want to say how much I appreciate these things, because they really help me to stay focused in. And I love the ideas that you gave today about even the music. You know, I think right now some of our medical people, I've watched some of them stop and dance to some music while they're there at the hospital. And so that's maybe, you've given me some ideas to reach out to some people that I've been talking to about the program, and maybe that's a direction I can go in. So thank you.
Of course, good.
Also people that aren't clients that you see on Facebook that maybe are talking about something that happened, like a death or whatever, you can offer help to them too by saying, you know, message me, or we can have a message conversation that eventually, even if they don't need Optavia, they would refer somebody because of the help that we give a stranger.
I love it. I love that so much. That's a conversation, guys, and coming at it and just getting in that conversation. Thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful.
Lori, what wording would you use for, you know, obviously they have the Laugh book, and that is what we're guiding them back to, is chapter 4. But how would you do that in the conversation, like you talked about, you know, offering the music as an idea? How do you really get their buy-in for the book?
So then great question. So I like to give it to people in baby steps, because I don't want to bombard them with so much, go do this, 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 this. I like the follow-up. The Life book is, people are very resistant to this sometimes because they're just, I don't have time, I don't have this, I can't possibly, it's intimidating by size, right? Give them, help them to see the value of taking the steps, Carla. So what I recommend is, let's start with the song once a day. Let's create a habit. Let's see the value of the habit. And then say, let's follow up in a couple days. Text me, and then let's see how this is working for you to elevate your frequency. My job is, I got to elevate the frequency to give them more. Okay? So if they're in the pit, I can't be like, do this, 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 this. One step at a time, one habit at a time, right? And music is just an easy, fun thing that they don't even have to think about. So what it's going to do is, if they're like at a 0 frequency and we elevate them with the music and it's like, bink, it bumps them up to like a 3 or 4, and they see the value of doing it. And then I'm like, okay, what are you doing for your morning routine? Okay, then I'll ask them the question, are you ready for what's next? Okay, and then say, what are you doing for a morning routine? I'm not. Okay. Then you find out what's special to them. If they're a spiritual, religious person, you get them into the word. If they're not, you get them into another high frequency, or you get them into, you know, are you open to journaling your emotions out? Right? Are you this? Are you that? You ask questions, because each person is different. And then you can say, do you know what's changed my life? Do you know what's next? Element 4. Because honestly, guys, for me, I start people in element 4 when they're in the heat of it, because they're going to see value like immediately. If I take them to element 1 with the why, they're not ready yet. They don't know. I don't know what I want. I really don't. I can't stay on program. I mean, yeah, I'll lose weight one of these days. They only see it as that. So take them into like, what is it, like those paddles when somebody's like having a heart attack and the doctors go in and they like shock them. That's what we're looking to do for people. We want to give them immediate gratification and shock. And then they see, that's why you guys hear me say all the time, push the reset button. That's kind of how I look at it. ask yourself the question, what's one thing I can give them right now to shock them and get them out of that pit that they're in? And guys, this starts with you. Okay? So
Lori,
yes.
you know what's helping me? My name is Gay Ellen, and I'm in Woodland Hills, California. And what's helping me is what I'm doing right now is that I have oils, the essential oils, and I have one going in a diffuser, and it's called Joy. And it literally is changing my mood.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that's fun, something fun to share, like on your wall, Gay Allen. You know, like, what if we all did that today? What if everybody takes the challenge and just posts something on their wall of, I know everybody's going through hard things right now. This is one thing that has really been helping me. What if we could all spread the joy that way? What if we could all spread like a healthy tip that's been working, right? You guys, that's so attractive right now for people. People need this. So,
Hey, Lori, can I just jump in real quick?
of course.
I loved that, you know, one of your main questions is, what are you doing to refill your cup? And I think the biggest thing is we all need to ask ourselves that first, like exactly what you're saying. It's like, you know, because I know that when I'm not, you know, really in a good place, or I'm getting in a funk or whatever, it's like I look at it and I'm like, oh, well, I'm not getting up and doing my morning things. And, you know, give yourself grace right now and give yourself like little things to do. Like, it doesn't have to be your full hour morning routine that you normally do. Even if it's just 15 minutes of diving into your life book, that's going to refill your cup for the day. And and I think for me, what I really took from this is I kind of a week ago went back to element 1. I got all the way to like, I don't know, 16 or something. And I was like, you know what? I need a reset of my own health journey. And so like even this morning, I'm like, you know what? I need to dive into element 4 right now, right? I need the mindset piece right now to keep me really going on the right track. So maybe it starts with us. Maybe it starts with all of us saying, you know what? I'm gonna dive into element 4 right now. And I'm going to figure out the one thing that I can do for myself to make sure that I'm refilling my cup so that I have stuff to pour into others. Because if our cup is empty, we can't pour into our clients. So it all starts with us.
Love it. I love it. This is awesome. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I'm kind of thinking, because Brad was doing the power hours last week, I'm kind of thinking if this is helpful and you guys want more, that maybe tomorrow we can do it again. Go ahead, April.
I was just going to say, he just posted that he's going to start up another power hour, but later this week. So,
Oh, okay. Well, then let's just take it one day at a time. I will commit to you guys. I feel that these topics that we're learning, I think, are very important for each of us as we're trying for ourselves to get through these times, but also to be able to assist our clients and coaches in moving forward. So why don't we plan again for tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Pacific. And if you guys can make it, fantastic. I do want to say, sometimes I hear back from people, this is so overwhelming, there's so many calls. Guys, if it brings value to your life, show up. If it doesn't, it's okay. You don't have to show up. Nothing is mandatory. But again, I like to encourage people. From what I see with Optavia is that what other companies out there are willing to invest their time in teaching you how to show up and become better each and every day? What a gift. So again, for people that say that, I like to challenge people that I'm like, okay, are we showing up as a judger or as a learner? We don't have to be overwhelmed. Overwhelm is a choice. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. I love that topic. So anyway, let's show up tomorrow. If it brings you value, please show up. If it does not bring you value, please, guys, it's not mandatory. All right. Love to you all. My room will be open tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, and we'll probably go into element 5, I think would be good, which is the your surroundings, optimizing your surroundings, because we got a lot of crazy stuff going on in our surroundings right now. But all right, I love you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lori.
You're so welcome.
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks, Lori.